Welcome to Housewarming, a fine line documentary series where we're looking at the impact of art in the home by sitting down and having conversations with artists and art buyers. Today, we're checking out the home and art collection of RJ, and we're joined by his partner, Shawn, an artist known for his abstract, colorful, and intricate paintings. Let's get into it. Hello, hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you for having me. Well, thank you guys for welcoming me into this home. First thing, I look in this space and I'm just like, color, like gorgeous, these big pieces. Whose artwork is this? Is this yours, Shawn?
Well, this is my work.
Yeah.
But it is RJ's from his collection of work.
Okay, yeah.
So RJ has collected my work at various times throughout my practice, and
Wow.
I've always had a keen eye for a lot of color.
Yeah.
And RJ's always had a keen eye for picking up on my transitions in terms of styles and evolution. So a lot of the stuff you might see here is based on kind of me working through gradually my process as an artist and kind of figuring out what's sticking, and it kind of changes up every, I don't know, like I believe in always changing things up and just exploring. So, but yeah.
Very cool. Did you collect these pieces before you even knew Shawn, or what was the story between these two?
These pieces are in the last couple of years. I've known Shawn for 20 years. So.
Wow, you've known each other a long time.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I love them in this space because like everything's like sort of white and minimal, but then you have the color of the stained glass there. Is that a thought process that happened, or is just sort of a natural evolution with the style of this foyer? Did you think about that, or it just like perfectly went? Because I just noticed the color and then the
It is kind of stained glassy, like when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like the blood color book,
Yeah,
Right?
no, that's an
Like look
interesting
at this
point.
one.
Yes.
Like all this stuff, like how you see the color coming out.
Yes, yes.
It's interesting. I never thought.
Yeah.
Right,
See,
yeah.
everyone sees something different in art and spaces, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's check out the rest of your home. I'm excited to see what else you have. Wow. Oh my gosh, this space is really unique. Wow. I mean, the first thing I do notice is all this really interesting paneling. It looks like sound paneling for the piano. Is it?
Yes. So this is a lovely Bechstein Grand,
Yeah.
which is very full-voiced. It's actually quite a large
Wow.
sound for this room.
Yeah.
So what these panels do is they make this space larger for the ear, right?
Okay.
So that it sounds as though the room is
Yeah.
larger,
Right.
even though it's not.
That's
And that
interesting.
makes the instrument less overpowering. When you have people in here listening, it can be a little overwhelming. So it just
Wow.
makes the space extend wider and longer
Yeah.
acoustically.
Wow.
It absorbs the standing waves, which is what tells you how big the space is to your ear.
Right.
So it kind of absorbs the standing bounce between the walls so that it sounds.
RJ actually has a PhD in music from Stanford,
Oh my
so
God.
he knows a lot about the sound and all the engineering of acoustics and whatnot. So
Wow.
Yeah, so these panels were cut by a local artist named Scott Younson,
Okay.
who's done a lot of kind of cut-like masonry and material work across the city.
it's like sculptural, right? It's like a
Yeah.
Sculptural, and it talks to this chandelier,
Yes.
which is a local designer. We got that from a design shop called Made, which ran on Dundas here for about 10 years. Works very well with the kind of the cream-colored
Yeah.
color map in this
Yeah.
room.
And there's that little bit of texture that's like matching on the ceiling detail.
And yeah, it maps the ceiling.
That was actually never
sconces.
thought. You got a great eye. I'm like thinking like the inlay on that that porcelain,
Yeah.
right,
Look
is
at
actually almost like how they made these old houses with the
Right?
the fabricated
Yeah.
molding.
No,
That's
these are
really
actually
interesting.
original. These are original moldings to the house. So these are like
Wow.
almost 150 years old.
That's
right?
amazing.
Yeah.
What about this work here?
So this is one of Shawn's more recent works.
Okay. Wow.
It's called, is this called Sea Breeze, I think? It's what you called it for a while.
Yeah, I don't know if I really had a title. I just called it untitled. Like I just been doing a lot of new landscapes, abstract landscapes, and this was the beginning of me working with different elements and stages in the work with dots. Like I don't know if you can see all these kind of dots in there. It was a real process of post-digitally designing a landscape in the way I wanted to design a landscape.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked at it as a designer way because I cut a lot of stuff out. I was working right on canvas, cutting and pasting.
cool.
Yeah.
It was a lot of like looking back and forth and trying to figure out balance. But I think I did this piece about a year and a half ago. I've been embodied on a whole bunch of new work, and it's changed because I found ways and different solutions to work that out. And I'm really happy that I've had this experience. But I did like 20 paintings like that, and I said, "Wow, this is my life."
So this is a transitional piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of a new style development, right?
Sort of changing from what we saw in the foyer, like a little bit. Is that the progression that was first?
Yes.
We're moving this way.
I was stuck in this place of tightness. And then when I realized that the tightness didn't match my personality, then I realized that I needed to throw paint more and just be free.
Okay. Well, I'd love to see more of the work more of your work that's throughout this house. So yeah, let's go check out some more pieces. I want to see some more.
This was painted at Artscape Gibraltar Point.
Oh, I know that place.
Right?
Yeah.
The residency. Shawn did 2 residencies there. I did a couple as well. And he painted that along with a larger sister piece around the corner on the theme of Niagara Falls.
With this, I called it interwoven landscape because I was interwinding, I guess, twining, I should say, the mask with the tape. So if I painted this, I had to cover this. So there was a lot of that kind of like, okay, if I put paint here, hiding, but you had to. So it was an experience and a lot of work.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of work.
And kind of felt like I don't know if I can be in that state for too long. It's because it was a lot. But again, RJ picked a piece that he thought, wow, this is a transition from, some other stuff I do. So I don't realize that until later. I'm like, wow, you just really picked out a piece that is showing evolution.
Right. Well, let's check out the companion piece you have to this. I want to see that.
Sure.
So this is the companion piece here? Okay. I definitely see the similarities going on. But what's sort of different from this one?
And what made this one different was I was frustrated because all the taping and stuff like that, it became a little bit like, is this what I'm going to have to continuously do? It was fun when it was happening, but it was like, And then I started putting paint over it.
Okay.
And then it started doing its own thing. I'm a big believer in, letting the natural balance of how water dries and elements, how it kind of helps you create, more organic shapes and forms. So that's what made this one different, where you see the sort of like the watermarks of the paint drying. It kind of gives it a different kind of tone in different areas.
Totally. It looks more watercolor-esque in a way, right?
Yeah.
There's 2 other boldly colorful pieces which seem similar to yours, but like a little different. So, but these are your pieces still. Yeah.
So this is the most recent piece that you've seen so far.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is pure abstraction, right?
Yeah.
So there's not as much of a figurative. The weaving landscape theme has kind of shifted to more these kind of dripped motifs, these interweaving, dripping motifs.
I would say this is an exploration of working with different mediums that I haven't used before, and just a lot of it being trial and error. Like it wasn't really planned. I kind of executed this by, let me see where I can find balance.
This one looks very different in a way. It looks sort of more chaotic.
This is the earliest piece you've seen so far.
Yeah.
Is this the Kermit piece?
Yeah, I call this Kermit.
Kermit?
Kermit, because it's like...
because of the green. This has everything in it.
Yeah.
The kitchen sink, It even has glitter in it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So why would
So
you do
cool.
that? It's just kind of, I'll throw that in there. I'll throw that in there.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah,
well, it is that kind of frustrating vibe because
yeah,
the reality is I was frustrated.
Yeah.
I was frustrated trying to figure out the essence of what I wanted to do, but kind of feel like I was unique
Yeah.
to what I want to experience without having that experience.
in theater they talk about breaking the third wall.
Right.
So this is like kind of ripping back the artifice of all the texture to see the base layer beneath physically, right?
Yeah.
What really amazes me about this piece is that it's so chaotic and it has every color and texture you could possibly imagine, but it's so balanced.
Yes, I totally
Right?
see that. Right. Yeah, let's sit down, have a bit more of a
Okay,
conversation,
sounds good.
talk a little bit more about some art.
Cool.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that you had known each other for 20 years. So how did you first meet? Let's start there. How did you meet?
Well, you might not want to hear that story. No, I'm joking. We
no.
did meet through a mutual friend at a kitchen party
Okay.
20 years ago.
He was singing in the kitchen.
A kitchen party, like people gathered in
Yeah,
the kitchen.
someone-
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
an East Coast kitchen party
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Toronto, right? But
Okay.
anyway, it was the kitchen party. I ended up singing. RJ liked it. Well, it wasn't about that.
I didn't know what to make of it. Who's this guy singing in the kitchen? He was singing full voice, a cappella, Donny Hathaway,
Yeah.
as though it was like Carnegie Hall. And I
Yeah.
said, "What's this guy about?" I didn't quite know what to make of
He
it.
was like, I've been so many places in my life and time.
Oh,
Anyway, so that was it. And then we saw each other a couple months after. I was performing at a
He was
place.
performing at Bar Italia
wow.
on
Wow.
College Street. So
That's
we
great.
met there. And then the night that made it happen was I was out dancing with friends. And then I went home and I said, "Oh, I'll just stop by Roxy Blue." Anyone remember? You're all probably too young to know
Right.
Roxy Blue. But it was on Brant Street. I think
Okay.
it was a condo now, but it was a club back then, but Roxy Blue. And I said, "Oh, I'm just going to stop in there and see who's DJing."
Yeah.
So he stopped in there with some friends. What
Wow.
was going on, and that was it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
20 years,
Yeah.
20 years later.
About
Fate.
exactly 20
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. That's when we known each other. We
Yeah.
evolved into our friendship. To
Yeah.
That was like November 2003.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Shawn, were you painting back then as well, back 20 years ago?
Oh yeah, I was painting. I was actually at Roxy Blue that night because it was the after. I think it was like the after party from the night before. I did a live painting show and performance there.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like that was a place where I was kind of doing things and yes, I was doing painting back then as well.
Do you remember the first painting of Shawn's that you collected? Was it the self-portrait or was it something way back when?
No, I think it was kind of a signature, or what's become a signature piece. It's called Walking Celebration, which is an abstraction of several figures kind of walking in celebration with their hands in the air.
Oh.
Well, guess what, RJ? Today's your lucky day. So a celebration of your collecting over the years of my work, that's really been great for me to, honoring my work, but also me honoring you for that support. I have something for you. Here we go. That's for you, RJ.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's beautiful. And that's
You know,
from your fine line collection.
So should we take it out of the box? So
Yeah, go
everyone
for
can
it.
see
Let's see it.
Yeah. So this is the exact piece RJ was talking about, the one I woke up in the morning and did a painting. So I have
Yeah.
a reproduction of it, and this is the reproduction of it. It was black. It was actually black acrylic on
On a
red
red background.
on a red acrylic background. So I just basically
Yeah.
took the image, selected it, and did kind of did an Andy Warhol effect. So this is what I did for fine line. I just did a.
So this
a
is the G
series.
clay, right?
Yeah, this is the
G
G clay print. So this is for you.
Wow.
Congratulations.
You get more art.
You get more art from the artist, formerly known as the artist.
I feel on Fine Line, do you have these in different like color variations,
I do,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. I love these two colors.
Yeah.
We got a little bit more of that stained glass going on with the blues and the reds.
Yeah.
It's perfect for your
I
home.
think it's sort of now I understand that, like, you know, how I work as an artist from my background in studying design. I always thought about the layering effect. So yeah, so I love color as you can tell. So so like, and this was kind of like I did 4 colors, and it's called Walking Celebration, or some people call it Dancing Celebration, because it encompasses a portion of 3 women or silhouette symbols, like celebrating and dancing.
Seems like a lot of your stories feel like following the trail of cosmic breadcrumbs. Someone I know calls it that, where you're just following the magic and forming a lot of beautiful relationships along the way, like you two and, well, I guess now us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks so much for having us in. This was a great chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We want to thank RJ for welcoming us into your home, and be sure to check out Shawn's work on the fineline.art marketplace, and we'll see you for the next episode of Housewarming.
I've been so many places in my life and time, and I sung a lot of songs, and I made some bad rhymes. I've acted up my life in many stages,